Becoming an angel investor was not on my 2024 bingo card. Up until very recently, I thought that angel investing was just for super wealthy, high profile corporate businessmen. Surely not for little old me with my very modest investment budget and my very low profile. Not to mention that I'm a relatively young woman. I just turned 37, so I'm young-ish. However, if you think about an investor, you would normally think about a middle-aged white man, right? Well, in 2024, I became an angel investor in what I think to be one of the best young companies in the UK. In this video, I'll tell you everything about how I got into investing, what angel investing in specifically, and what compelled me to become an angel investor. So let's start with my investing journey. I basically knew nothing about investing up until 2021. We were bang on in the middle of the pandemic, and my husband and I decided to really revolutionize our household finances. We really thought about what we wanted out of our lives, and we thought really deeply about what our core values were and what our priorities were, and we made two principal decisions. The first decision was to buy a motorhome that we could live in a few months per year. And decision number two was to do our best to maximize our household savings so that we could secure our future. Our first goal to buy a motorhome became true in 2022, and since 2022 we have spent every summer, about 4 or 5 months every summer, in the mountains in France, and it has highly increased our quality of life. And then for goal number two, I started looking into investing. I read a book that really changed my life and my entire approach to my finances. And this book is called The Simple Path to Wealth. And it was written by a man called J.L. Collins. So this book actually started as a series of letters that this guy wrote to his daughter in an attempt to educate her about financial well-being. And so it was an incredibly easy read. I had a great time reading it. And although the last chapter is very specific to Americans and what they have available in their investing portfolios, the first 3/4 of that book was an amazing read, and it taught me really a lot about building wealth through investing. Now, probably if you knew as much as I knew about investing before reading this book, you probably think that investing is very similar to what you see in the movie Trading Places with Eddie Murphy, right? There's that scene where Eddie Murphy does a bunch of predictions about what the bacon traders would do, and he manages to earn like a few $1,000s by like buying and selling the stocks of bacon, something like that, right? But actually the book taught me that that kind of investing is called day trading. So this is when you buy specific stocks from a company, and then you try to do your best to predict the short-term behavior of the market so that you would buy those stocks at a lower price and then resell them at a higher price over a short period of time. That is an incredibly high risk kind of investing. The book teaches you that the safe way to really build your wealth over a long period of time is to invest in index funds. I'm not going to spend too much time explaining the intricacies of all of this, but essentially what you need to know is that if you invest your money in index funds, those funds are made up of the most successful companies in a country or in the world, and they are managed by someone else for a very low fee. Investing in index funds won't make you rich in the short term, but if you invest a little bit every month for a long period of time and you just leave your money there and you allow it to gain compound interest, in 10, 15, 20, 30 years' time, you're likely to have built your wealth exponentially. Since understanding this, my husband and I set the goal to try to maximize our tax-free investment allowance. So that's how we've been managing our finances since 2021. In 2024, I came across a company called Candid. I came across them thanks to the one and only Rachel Harris from Accountant She. She is a fantastic creator, accountant, and business owner. And on her Instagram stories, she was talking about one of her clients who are Candid. Candid is a self-portrait studio founded by two wonderful sisters, Amy and Lily. In this self-portrait studio, all the anxiety and the awkwardness of taking pictures of yourself disappears. You are the person taking the shots, literally. So you are the person taking pictures of yourself, and everything about what they do, from the customer service up to how the studio is set up, empowers you to really show up as yourself and feel great. I really love this concept. So I booked a session, and it was one of the most amazing experiences of my life, like truly. I booked a short session of 15 minutes with them, and I was able to take home like 40, 45 pictures of myself where I felt great. I'm going to show you a few here. And I was so impressed by how much these sisters were able to achieve in just a few months' time. A few weeks after that, I found out that Candid were looking for investment. So this means that they were raising funds and getting investors on board so that they could take the studio at another level. So at the time, they were in a very small studio in Notting Hill in London, UK. And to get there, you had to go up a very steep set of stairs. And they wanted to move to a bigger space where they could get a little bit more comfortable. And also they wanted a step-free access to the studio so that wheelchair users could also access their service. And so one of the founders, Amy, she wrote a wonderful little LinkedIn post just saying, guys, we're looking for investors. Please share this post. We are at the stage where we're just like ready to grow. We feel we're on a momentum. Please help us reach the investors that are a right fit for Candid. And so at that stage, I was like, this would be such an amazing opportunity for me to just hop on board and be part of their story. But I have to admit that my first knee-jerk reaction was that I wasn't worth it. So I never pictured myself as an angel investor. I honestly don't know why, but if I made a guess, it's because I don't see many female angel investors out there. And in fact, that's statistically true. Only 14% of angel investors in the UK are women. And yet, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to write to these guys. I'm going to write to Amy and Lily, and I'm going to say that I have a yearly kind of like investment budget in my household and that I would be more than happy to divert some of it to become an angel investor for them. And what's the worst that could happen, right? The worst that could happen is that they turn around and they say, you know what, we're looking for another kind of person, which would have been absolutely fine. But yet I took that step to write to them and set up a chat so that we could see if we could be a right fit one for the other. So I met with Amy and she presented her deck, her funding deck. So that is a number of slides where she showed, the progress to date, financial information about the year of trading that they had, and also the future plans and what they intended to do with the investment money that they would receive with this round of fundraising. And I just knew that I had to hop on board. Not only there was like objective data that gave such a strong indication that they were a reliable company that would take over the world, but also I had a gut feeling that that was the right thing for me to do. It's really strange. So many of my decisions are made in two steps. The first step is to really, really overthink it. But then the final decision is always made by some kind of gut feeling that comes out. And I always listen to it. And I have to say that that has always kind of worked out for me. And so that same day, after speaking with Amy, I made an offer and they accepted it. Yay! I was officially an angel investor. So what is angel investment exactly? Angel investing is giving your own money to a small business, usually a startup, in the initial phases of their trading. And in exchange, you get to own a part of that company. So you buy a portion of that company's shares and you become a shareholder of that company. This will entitle you to receive dividends in future years if the company is profitable, obviously, and or if a company that you're a shareholder of is sold to another company, then you also get to keep a part of that income, obviously in proportion to how many shares you hold. So if you acquire 10% of a company and a company is sold for, let's say, £1 million, then you get to keep £100,000, which is 10% of £1 million. If a company is seeking investors, they're not just after the money, they're also looking for the right people to, call on board so that they can take advantage of their skills. So in my case, I'm a finance director and my bread and butter is, analyzing financial data, transforming it into information, and then helping business owners make decisions about the future. And I'm so excited to be part of Amy and Lily's story. Something to note about angel investing is that it's considered a high-risk investment because statistically, most startups fail. And so you only have to be ready to invest money that you can afford losing. And, this is true to all investing. Even if you invest in lower risk endeavors, the key thing about investing is that your capital will always be at risk. So these are the specific reasons that made me say yes to becoming an angel investor for Candid. First of all, I really, really loved the concept and the business idea. The fact that you can walk in a wonderful looking studio with highly friendly staff and just have your own time to take your own shots and really decide for yourself how you want your pictures taken in a very intimate setting is a massive, massive thing for people like me, for like introverts, or for people who generally don't like their photos taken. I had a couple of not very good experiences in the past where I hired a photographer, a professional photographer, for a few £100 and spent hours, taking pictures and like doing several poses. And it was just like an uncomfortable thing throughout. And I didn't really love the end pictures either. And I didn't really get to see the pictures until like 2 months after, when the photographer had enough capacity to like download them and make their edits. It just wasn't great. But with Candid, you just get in, you have an amazing experience, you have your pictures less than 30 minutes after you finish shooting. And to me, this resolves a massive, massive problem in the market. And it's just all around a fantastic idea that no one in the market had really come up with. The second thing that compelled me to become an angel investor for Candid is the market potential. So there aren't very many competitors, and the competitors that are there don't quite offer the service in the same way that Candid do. And by just how the trends have evolved over the past year and a half that they've been active, it really shows that there's a true need for this in the market. And this brings me to reason number 3 why I become an angel investor for Candid. That is the customer satisfaction rate. Every single Google review that was left for Candid has 5 stars. People love the experience. They have a great time when they take pictures of themselves, may that be for their own business or may it be with friends and family to capture a moment. The whole experience is so thought through that people feel compelled to leave really fantastic feedback. I also invested in Candid because of their financial KPIs. In case you don't know it, KPI stands for Key Performance Indicator, and they are figures that you use to measure your success to date against your goals. So despite Candid only started trading in May 2023, their financial data showed an increase in both income and profitability. It was also crucial in my decision to know that the valuation was made by an accounting firm that I trusted. So their valuation was made by Rachel Harris. And so I really trusted that she would make a valuation that was fair. So valuation is the estimate of the value of a company, and that is used to determine how much the shares cost. So if a company is valued very, very highly, then the shares will be more expensive, and the opposite is true. If the valuation is low, the shares will be cheaper. And obviously, it's really important to trust that the methods used for the valuation are sound, because valuations are not an exact science. There's many different methods that can be used to value a company, and they're based on data and predictions that aren't set in stone. And so Strivex, Rachel Harris's accounting practice, when they did the valuation, they used 3 different methods, and then they kind of like triangulated them to find an average point for the valuation of Candid. Candid is also a highly scalable company. So this means that there's a lot of opportunity for Candid to really grow in size. That could happen through opening more studios in London, but also outside of London. It is potentially a company that could grow on a global level and start franchises, etc. And so that was also a really important point for me to consider when making that offer to them. And then last but not least, a really key thing that made me say yes is just the feeling that I had with Amy and Lily. I really trust them. I think they are incredibly smart, brave, amazing women that will take over the world. They are hardworking, and they put the company's core values at the center of everything. I could see that even through my own experience. The first time that I went there for my photo shoot, during the shoot, I tripped over myself and I made the backdrop full, which had never happened to them before. And so I called Amy up and she was like, you know what? Don't worry. Are you safe? Are you okay? We're going to fix this. We're going to find a way to figure it out. And so together we kind of like rebuilt the backdrop, and the thing was resolved. And so that really gave me an indication of what kind of people I was getting in business with. And I trust them. I trust that no matter what comes their way, they will be able to take it in their stride and just run with it. And those are skills that make them really trustworthy and reliable. And I really like them. They're amazing. Lily, Amy, I love you guys. And that's it. That's the story of how I became an angel investor in 2024. Let me know if you like this. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what else you would like to know about my journey in investing. And while you're at it, check out my reaction videos right over here. On this channel, I offer reaction and commentary videos to Dragon's Den, just talking about business and finances and, best practices for business. Check them out, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye.